Guilty. Based on what?
I was never that popular.
Hey guys, it's your friendly neighborhood Dragonslayer here, and yes, we're back for more of this dog shit. Now before I begin, I need you guys to let me know down in the comments what feminist simp rating from 1 to 10 do you give Fred after his conversion into a feminist ally. Also, if my voice sounds slightly different, it's because Velma damaged my brain so much that I developed another personality to filter out the trauma this show inflicted on me. Anyway, let's jump straight into the 6th circle of hell, shall we? Okay, so we begin with a quick backstory of Velma telling us how she became the merciless demon that we know of today. And then we cut to a scene of the mayor telling everyone at school that there hasn't been a murder in 2 weeks, but 17 seconds later it all gets ruined when we get a random woman screaming in the front yard that another girl's been killed.
Well, shit.
Good god, we're only less than 2 minutes in and already this is sapping away all of my will to keep writing this script. But don't worry guys, I'm doing this mostly for you so you don't have to suffer through this crap.
One eternity later.
Alright, so a town hall meeting is called after what happened. We find out that Fred's been freed from jail because the girl was killed while he was in prison, which is stupid, and that the real murderer is still out there, but that he likes killing only hot girls.
You don't say. Huh?
To summarize this insult to every police department out there, the mayor and sheriff announced that their law enforcement does not have a high enough budget to protect every single vulnerable hot girl, and that someone from the high school must make a short list of the top 5 hot girls that will be assigned as security detail.
No, you're not serious.
Now, this plan by the incompetent white men in power enrages our little demon Velma so much that she makes an outburst criticizing the idea, but then the mayor claps back at her immediately by saying that she should be the one to write that list if she is so against it.
Gotcha.
He then emotionally blackmails her by saying that if she doesn't make the list of girls, they are eventually going to end up dead, which is going to lead to the end of Crystal Cove's tourism economy.
Who gives a
Eventually, Velma ends up agreeing to it, and she then asks for Daphne to help her write the top 5 hot girls list, but Daphne immediately rejects doing that for her because she doesn't like making lists, and Velma tells her that she can't because compared to Daphne, all hot women look like sacks of potatoes to her, which then leads to this.
Be careful, cause us bitches will do anything to get on it. Anything.
We then see the hot girls trying to sexually coerce Velma into putting them on the list while causing pandemonium in the school, but she then complains to her simp Norville, of course, that writing this list and dealing with her feelings towards Fred and Daphne is making solving this problem harder than it should be. However, his answer to her is that maybe he can help her if she gives him pointers about Daphne's personality so that he can emulate it and have her become attracted to him. Oh my god.
But wait! There's more!
Velma then complains to Norville about the patriarchy's beauty standards for women, how women are taught to be ashamed of their bodies, and how these standards are forcing her to make this list, but as usual with this show, the S-tier simp Norville pretends to care about what she is saying in order so that he can trick her into giving details about Daphne's personality traits.
Bro, give it up. Move on.
She then meets Fred at the diner in order to ask for his help in ranking the top 5 hottest girls in the school, and Fred agrees to it, but he suddenly turns into an AI program from ChatGPT that quickly gives Velma the top 5 hot girls for her list in a flash, which apparently is a huge energy drain for him.
What?
Velma then gets so puzzled and insulted by the fact that he picked a sweet girl for her list because she has huge melons, and hands our unwitting rich white male a book from the depths of hell to brainwash him called the Arcanum Extremae Feminista. Needless to say, Fred ends up getting so irreversibly damaged by these unholy texts that he starts to diss a 1905 play that no one watching this show even knew it existed until he mentioned it out of nowhere, and he becomes so unnaturally attracted to physically unappealing artistic cougars that it causes his brain to go into factory reset mode, which causes him to question his entire existence.
Oh, that poor bastard.
Moving on, Velma gives the list she did no effort on to the mayor and sheriff, complains to them again about how bad the patriarchy is, and then the mayor manipulates her again into taking all of the hot girls with her in order to train them into becoming unappealing demons like herself, to which Velma gladly accepts. You know what? I think I have an answer to one of the mysteries of this show. I think Mindy Kaling hates herself so much that she is creating powerful female characters as an outlet for her inner demons and the hate of modern society, because the only other thing I can think of is that she took HBO's money to help them with their tax write-offs.
Yeah, I said it.
Anyway, Velma takes it upon herself to subject the hot girls to a patriarchy deprogramming bootcamp from hell, which at first ends up working fine but eventually backfires when she shows them still hot to the old creepy men. And this is the reasoning for why they didn't like her shaming deprogramming.
No woman should ever have to change who she is or how she dresses to not be murdered.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Velma gets justifiably ridiculed by the hot girls for forcing her extreme ideology on them of what a woman should be in society, and then they decide to immediately shut down that good point with this.
We'll take our police details now, and no uggos. Just beefcake.
What's the point of all this?
Velma then decides to go to school dressed in cosplay while complaining to her stepmom that she has no clue on how to be a woman without judging other women, which is extremely sad, and we find out that she put on this botched excuse for cosplay to show support for all the beautiful ways women express themselves. Sure, Velma.
I don't believe you.
Velma's stepmom then starts going into labor out of nowhere, but then they can't get to the hospital because they're stuck in the school carpool lane, and then her mom tells Velma to get someone to clear out the people in the school. And she then finds the sheriff and tells him about the situation, and then this ends up happening.
Oh, she's crowning!
Actually, I should probably see this too. Always wondered how it worked.
Come on, fellas! It's show and tell time!
I mean, at this point, are any one of you guys still surprised by this show's insanity?
No!
Regardless, the sheriff fails to perform a simple crowd dispersion and complicates things for Velma's mom. She tries to convince the hot girls to help her out but fails miserably. She tries to act hot and gets rejected faster than a meat eater rejects vegetables. The hot girls decide to help her out of nowhere by acting like Instagram e-thoughts in order to lure away the men, and Velma just goes berserk, pushing and throwing people out of the way to open a path for the paramedics.
But you one crazy ass bitch.
Fred then sees her being a strong, independent woman and does questionable calculations in his head about her attractiveness, but then we cut to the hospital where Velma's stepmom has finally given birth, and she thanks Velma for her help. We then fast forward to her failing at twerking until Fred shows up to speak to her about something.
I don't like where this is going.
In short, he confesses his warped male feminist love for her and tries to compliment Velma so that he can get into her pants. But Velma does some calculations of her own to give this answer.
Up until right now, I found you irresistible, but now I just find you gross.
What?
Fred doesn't take this rejection well, let's just say. Velma shuts the window on him, and then she says she's keeping his picture for ulterior uses. Oh god, that is so gross. Why did you have to say that? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Norville and Daphne go on a side quest to find out who her parents are, but before we get into that, I need to ask the 5 people still left alive from this travesty to please set on fire the whole like, share, subscribe and all notifications buttons if you're liking this video so far. Now, Daphne is trapped in her room because her cop moms don't want their hot daughter to become a murder victim, and she gets very pissed about it and makes fun of cops who hold innocent people against their will.
Don't ask.
Anyway, Norville gets thrown into Daphne's room and we find out that he went to visit her to find out why Velma likes her, and oh my god, Norville, can you please just fucking stop? There is like 2 billion plus women out there and you're still clinging to the feminist devil. Just stop it, man.
Stop it. Get some help.
Regardless, this conversation is thankfully interrupted when someone throws a rock at her window, which turns out to be a geode from the abandoned crystal mine, and this causes Norville and her to escape so they can go out and investigate.
Very interesting.
We then jump to them driving to the museum to find out more information about the mine in question, but to make it short, it was a mine that opened in the 19th century, had a big economic boom in the 1970s, yet everything came crashing down after the 1980s and 90s, which caused the mine to shut down, and yes, that artistic pollinating flower you see is indeed sexual pottery.
Oh, that's nasty.
Moving on, Daphne tells Norville that she remembers that mine when she was a baby, and both go to the mine entrance where Daphne tells him that she wants to go inside to investigate further. But Norville says that it isn't a good idea to do that since the serial killer could be inside waiting for her while complimenting himself on his serial killer potential.
Arrest him! Arrest him!
We then find out through a quick flashback that Daphne is also a psychotic danger junkie, which at this point in the show it isn't anything surprising, and she demands him to come with her inside the mine, but then Norville surprisingly says this.
Myself like danger. I'm far too sane. So, if that's the thrill ride to know where Velma's looking for, I'm wasting my time.
That's what I'm talking about!
Daphne then tries to console him with the "there's plenty of fish in the sea, my man" comment, but Norville says he's done with all of that BS and tells Daphne that he is getting out of the mine with or without her, which causes Daphne to suddenly become obedient enough that she actually gets in the car and leaves the mine with him. And all I can say is that it probably was the best decision she's made in this show so far.
Why do you say that?
You're right. You're right.
Alright guys, now that we are done with the feminist propaganda episode, let me know in the comments as well how many brain cells I helped you save this time. Now, if you would excuse me, I need to revert back to my original personality by watching another manly film like Commando. But with that, my friends, I wish you all a wonderful day and Namarie.